Good evening, I'm Pallavi Ghosh. We're going to go straight across to Rio de Janeiro, where the Prime Minister has met up with the Brazilian president. And in fact, you can see those pictures up on your screens. And it's going to be at the all-important BRICS summit. And as we have been reporting, China has given it a skip, which is, of course, very significant. But besides this, meeting BRICS summit is very important in the context of two important events. One, of course, is post-Operation Sindoor, and India is going to be looking at support coming in from all the BRICS summit participants as far as India's fight against terror is concerned. It would certainly expect some kind of a statement which would come in on the Pahalgam terror attack. That's one. Second, India at this point of time is also engaged, and why just India? Many countries are in that trade tariff war with America, and India is looking for newer partners, newer countries as far as our trade is concerned. And this is where the BRICS summit certainly becomes very important, because we are going to be looking at new challenges, new partners, expanding our trade, our exports as well as imports. Apart from this, of course, the Prime Minister will be having a bilateral, that is one-on-one meeting with his counterpart, with the Brazilian president in Rio de Janeiro. The Prime Minister's meeting is very, very critical in the context of given the global situation. We are seeing, for example, Iran engaged in a war with Israel, Russia, Ukraine. So at this point of time, peace in the global world order is something which is paramount. But most importantly is the fight against terror, which is where India is going to be looking at support in the 5-nation tour by the Prime Minister. Everywhere he has carried this message on behalf of India, that India has been consistently attacked by Pakistan as far as terror activities are concerned, and Operation Sindoor was provoked because of the Pahalgam terror attack. There has been widespread support which India has been getting as far as the world powers are concerned, and this is exactly the message which the Prime Minister is taking across to the BRICS summit, where he's of course going to be meeting up for a bilateral meeting with the Brazilian president. You're already seeing those pictures up on your screens where he has met up with the Brazilian president. And as we have been reporting, what is really significant and intriguing is the skipping of the BRICS summit by Xi Jinping. Siddhant is now joining us on the phone line. Siddhant, I heard you speaking to the Brazilian ambassador to India. But what do you think is going to be India's focus, the Prime Minister's focus at the BRICS summit?
Well, Pallavi, Prime Minister Modi will definitely be speaking about the concerns of the countries from the global south. And in fact, Prime Minister himself visited many countries in last 1 year. And in fact, he understood their concerns, their issues. So BRICS is one platform where we could expect Prime Minister Modi to raise the issue of the countries from the global south. Then this is the 17th BRICS summit, Pallavi, and the theme of this summit is strengthening global South cooperation for more inclusive and sustainable governance. So initially comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, and China, South Africa. In fact, recently the BRICS grouping got expanded, Pallavi, and now it includes Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. So the BRICS countries convene for the summit annually. Now, this year's discussions focus on spheres of political and socio-economic coordination, in which member countries have already identified business opportunities and areas of cooperation. The agenda, if talking about the agenda and the focus area for this year's summit, will be global health cooperation, trade, investment, and finance, climate change, artificial intelligence, governance, multilateral peace and security architecture, and institutional development. Also, Pallavi, given, after President Trump coming to office in January, perhaps, the geopolitics has taken a shift of 360 degree. Perhaps, there are attempts being made to end a war going on in Europe. We just had conflict in West Asia. Then India was attacked by Pakistan, cross-border terrorism, and then India replied with Operation Sindoor. So what India expects, perhaps India is a founding member of BRICS, Pallavi. So what India expects is a strong worded paragraph on on Pahalgam terror attack. And India also expects a joint that paragraph to be a part of a joint declaration, and it should be strong. And at the same time, the cross-border word needs to be there, and perhaps that's what I'm being told, and this is what is being expected from the outcome of the summit. So today, Prime Minister will be participating in the 2 sessions. He will also be holding bilateral talks with the leaders from various other countries. In fact, his meeting with the Iranian president is scheduled for tomorrow. This is what I'm told. He's going to meet Iranian President Pezeshkian. If you remember, Pallavi, he did speak to the Iranian president and thanked him for the help and cooperation which Iran extended by opening up the skies so that the Indian students can return back home during conflict. Then Prime Minister could also hold bilateral talks with Indonesia, Malaysia, Cuba, Bolivia, and various other leaders from the various other countries. Also, Pallavi, this is a time where the world is negotiating trade pact with the United States. So that would definitely, world is looking for more markets. To diversify markets, perhaps that we could see the reflection of that also in the joint declaration. Then artificial intelligence governance would be a top priority since Prime Minister Modi attended AI Action Summit in February in France, and in fact India will be hosting the AI Action Summit next year. So Prime Minister's address would have a reflection of that as well. So there are a lot of agendas, as I pointed out, and it's going to be an action-packed 2 days for Prime Minister Modi. So the first day is for the member countries, and tomorrow we've been told that there's going to be the outreach session in which Prime Minister will be taking part.
And Siddharth, while you're talking about trade, we're talking about terror, India of course carries this message of peace, and you're very right, and it's very, very significant what you point out. He's going to meet the Iranian president, and India's stand on Iran, Israel, Russia, Ukraine has been a kind of a balanced one, not taking sides, but sending a message across to all the sides that peace is what is important, because that's only where we can have growth, development in the world. So when India is emerging as a challenger, and do you think our voice, our views on terror, anti-terror, and second, trade, where we are becoming self-reliant, but at the same time, a major trading partner of many of these new countries, is this going to be the hallmark of those talks which the Prime Minister is going to hold?
Absolutely, Pallavi. And, Prime Minister made it very clear in 2022 during SCO leaders meeting in Samarkand that this is not an era of war. Then Prime Minister also made it very clear after Operation Sindoor, Pallavi, that this is also not an era of terrorism. And perhaps this is a principal position of India as far as war is concerned and as far as terrorism is concerned. And Pallavi, also very important to underline what happened just a week back in China, where Defense Minister Rajnath Singh refused to sign the joint statement, joint declaration, only because it did not include the language which India wanted against terrorism. It did not include the word cross-border terrorism. Perhaps when India says cross-border terrorism, then that preference is for Pakistan. And since it was not there, so India did not sign. But BRICS is a grouping, as I said, that India is one of the founding members. One of the key contributors to this grouping has been contributing very positively to this grouping. We could expect a strong worded language on terrorism. And in fact, Pallavi, also very important to highlight for our viewers that right after Pahalgam terror attack under Brazilian presidency, BRICS chair did issue a strong statement against terrorism. So, in that case, we could expect a strong worded statement on terrorism. And yes, as far as war is concerned, definitely it will also be India's position is very clear. Dialogue and diplomacy. Both sides should come to the tables to discussion, and not an era of war, as Prime Minister said in 2022. So that's the principal position of India. But other than this, there are various other agendas also in which Prime Minister Modi would be contributing, would be sharing his perspective.
Thank you very much, Siddhant, for getting us all those details. This is an important visit by the Prime Minister to the BRICS summit. Focus.